Hello, Mr. Voltaire. So you're going for the job emissary? Alright. Tell me about yourself.
My name is Francis Marie Arouet, but I am better known by my pen name of Voltaire. I was born in 1694 and was one of the key pillars of the Enlightenment era. While there are many philosophers in my time, I stood out greatly with my prolific writing as well as my satirical style of commentary. My influences can still be seen to this day in many shapes and forms, including Isaac Newton's famous apple tree and falling apple thing. That was actually contributed to Voltaire. So, yeah.
Interesting. What motivates you?
What motivates me is educating people through my writing as well as criticizing the society I live in so I can better society as well as individuals and organizations in it.
Oh, sorry. What are your weaknesses?
I can be highly critical of many parts of my society, and that can get me in a lot of trouble. I also criticize a lot of religions, like Catholicism, which also gets me in a lot of trouble. My books can also get me in trouble, like my letters concerning the English nation got me kicked out of France, and my book Candide didn't help that at all, so kinda sucks, but feels bad to be this good.
How do you handle stress?
I can handle stress pretty well. I actually pride myself in how well I can handle it because I work a lot and I'm still going, which is pretty nice. So you can give me as much work as you want and I'll still be going on it.
What are your teachings of philosophy?
My teaching philosophy is to teach through anecdotes, actions, and criticism. Many times I use this with my books in a very satirical and absurd sense, just like in Candide again. And I use it to make fun of the absurdities of our culture and to promote change if I think there needs to be change.
What's a time you failed?
I've had my fair share of failures. I've been kicked out of places, not wanting to come back. I made enemies, but one of my biggest failures was when I failed to save an unfair trial from essentially religious bigotry. There was a Protestant merchant that allegedly killed his son, and the judges were all Catholics, and they judged harshly against him, and I thought it was really unfair, and it just wasn't really good, and I learned a lot from that situation.
What skills do you bring to the job?
One of my skills is that I have a strong belief in equality among all people, and that would be obviously translate into my work, especially as an emissary. Because while you are an emissary, you'll have to overcome many cultural boundaries to get to solving the real problem of why you're there in foreign relations. So my thought process would be based on mostly logic. Sometimes you need to take in the accounts of the culture, but mostly logic. And it will also help me with other diplomats to negotiate terms if I don't judge them, and hopefully they don't judge me back. And I was also an esteemed writer, which will garner me extra respect.
What's your dream job?
My dream would be a writer that makes a difference, and honestly I think I have achieved that. Nice. And I'm very thankful for it. However, my father wanted me to become a lawyer. However, I didn't listen to him, but he chased me for it, which kind of sucked, but fathers will be fathers. I once found a beautiful girl, but he chased me away from her just so I would become a lawyer, but screw him, I didn't. So now I'm here. I'm pretty good, looking for a job.
What causes are you passionate about?
I'm extremely passionate about religious tolerance and human rights because this is the Enlightenment era and stay woke, kids. So, when I went to England, I got to see a peaceful coexistence among all religions and the merchants and the free market of England. Nice. So, in that free market, nobody saw each other by their religion. They only saw each other by how much money they had, which, that's pretty good. The only infidel they considered was a broke person. So, in Voltaire's time, don't be a broke person, and now don't be a broke person, or nobody likes you.
What do you most like about yourself?
It may sound a little narcissistic, but I like how open-minded I am with other people, and I think that's a key way to change just society and cultures in general, and it's always good for civilization.
And that will bring the conclusion to the interview. So your name was Voltaire? No, Voltaire, yeah. I'll remember that, yeah. Yeah. Alrighty, so, it's a pleasure to meet you. We'll get back to you as soon as we get all the interviews in. Oh, hello. I'm here for the new position for a physician. My name is Isaac Newton. I'm a mathematician, physicist, astronomer, and I grew up in an estate in England.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. So in your opinion, you have a lot of accomplishments, but what is your greatest accomplishment?
I have so many well-earned accomplishments, like inventing calculus, inventing the universal law of gravitation, but I would have to say my 3 laws of motion shape the motion of the universe and physics itself.
So what differentiates you from other candidates that are applying for this job?
What differentiates me from the other candidates is that I'm probably the best guy for the job when it comes to physics. I invented the reflecting telescope, and I created several theories of physics, like the 3 laws of motion and the universal law of gravitation.
Would you ever lie for our company or any other company?
Yes, I would surely have to lie for the company. My reputation to the Church of England isn't that good. Well, I might have refused to take holy orders from them, so if I told them how planetary bodies are actually governed, they'll have my head.
When was the time that you went above and beyond at work?
A time that I went above and beyond at work was when I was sitting under an apple tree and all of a sudden an apple fell and hit my head. That made me think of how it didn't go in a diagonal pattern. I then invented the universal law of gravity.
What skills do you bring to the job?
Since I was lonely throughout my childhood, I had to become self-taught and self-educated. I also am very dedicated to my studies.
What causes are you passionate about? Please tell me.
I'm passionate about the world of mathematics. I was so enthusiastic about mathematics that I created calculus, the branch of mathematics that deals with the finding of properties of derivatives and integrals of functions.
So I know you have a lot of just achievements in general because that's what history says and that's what a lot of people say as well. But what are some of your greatest personal achievements in your opinion?
My greatest personal achievement was being the first to formulate the notion of gravity as the universal force. The universal law of gravitation explains that every particle attracts every other particle in the universe with a force with a directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between their centers.
So, a quick question, what do you like most about yourself?
What I like most about myself is that I can calculate the motion of heavenly bodies but not the madness of people.
So, I have your resume right here. Can we go over this, please? I'd really like to know more about it. And if you have any references, can you give them to me as well?
Sure. I served as the warden and master of the Royal Mint. I also was the president for the Royal Society. For my childhood, I went to the King's School in Grantham, and I went to the Trinity College in Cambridge. I also wrote the mathematical principles of natural philosophy, and I was knighted by Queen Anne of England. And from that day forward, I was Sir Isaac Newton.
Alright, that should conclude the interview. Thank you so very much for coming over, and I think you'll have the job. Congratulations.
Alright, thank you.